Welcome to the Heart of Fauquier. Today we have a very special guest, Sunny Reynolds with Biotrek, right here on Main Street in Warrenton. We're going to talk about her business, and it's a very interesting topic with what's been going on the last few years, so I'm excited to talk to her. And thank you so much for being a guest today, first of all.
You're welcome. Always glad to share.
Yeah, definitely. And so just to kind of get started with things, Sunny, if you could tell them a little bit about who you are, if you're local to Fauquier, family, things like that.
Well, I feel like I should be local to Fauquier, but I'm not. I've been here for a long time. But I'm from upstate New York, from Syracuse. But I came to Virginia quite some time ago. But my business has been in Old Town Warrenton for 30 years. Approximately. My first location was on Culpeper Street. Okay. And then I moved to this space, which is a really great space. It was the old fire hall, and it was first Warrenton Police Station, and so it has a lot of history here. So we really like it.
Very cool.
But I started here in Warrenton. I was a professional photographer. Did corporate advertising and traveled all over the world doing that, and so somewhere along the line I got into the travel bug. I went to Costa Rica to photograph an installation for IBM, and I absolutely loved Costa Rica, and a lot of people would ask me when I got back to Warrenton, I'd like to go to Costa Rica. You know, how do you get there? Where do you stay? Et cetera, et cetera. So I'm a pretty enterprising person, I think. And so after a little bit of that, I thought, why am I giving out all this free information? So that's kind of how Biotrek started. Okay. And we started out with Costa Rica, and then we just kept adding countries. So now we organize and lead small group travel to about 16, 17 countries. Wow. And as I was talking to you, we're always looking. We added a new destination for the next summer, 2023. We're doing an Arctic cruise. Wow. Yeah, pretty exciting. And we'll be scouting for polar bears. That's our goal. So. Cool. I think it's really good because things are happening in the environment, and it's becoming harder and harder to see the polar bears. Okay. So I want to get on that. So that's a new trip for us. Yeah. And then I went to Turkey in August. I'm looking at Turkey, and I'm leaving in a couple of weeks for Egypt and Jordan to see if that's a possibility. So we're pretty innovative. We keep moving here.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's so cool. And I love how it started with, the corporate stuff, and that was making you travel, so you got a feel for it. And some people, that really turns them on to, hey, I love traveling. And some people are like, after this job, I'm never leaving home. So,
I think that's true.
Yeah, it's one or the other. So that's cool that it, spiked this for you and gave you a taste for what you really wanted for a business. So.
Absolutely. I mean, photography was a segue into travel, and we still... I still do a lot of photography, and as we discussed before, I take all the pictures for our website, our newsletter, all our promotional material, comes from photographs that I take. So it's invaluable because that old saying that a photograph is worth 1,000 words, and nothing is truer than travel. Yeah. So photography sells trips for sure.
Yeah, awesome. So what you were talking about the Arctic trip. What other trips do you have planned out already for the next year or two? I don't know how far out you plan, actually.
Well, we, definitely a year out, but usually a year and a half, sometimes 2 years, and there's a lot of reasons for that. In January, we have a trip to Cuba. February, March, a trip to India, Rajasthan in the northern part of India. And then we go to Morocco. Then we do the Arctic cruise. Then we do a safari to Tanzania.
Oh, cool.
And then we finish off 23 with a trip to Chile and Patagonia. Okay. So our trips are very diversified and all over the world. Yeah. And so for the 24, we're looking at Peru, maybe Argentina, maybe going back to Costa Rica. So, we're planning for 24 right now.
Okay, awesome. The trips that you have planned out already, are they all booked, or are some of them still available if people want to get in on it?
Yeah, they're pretty, I think in Cuba we have one room left we could sell. I think we depart on January 11th, so it's getting really tight. So, but I highly recommend you come to Cuba.
Yeah.
Everything we do is, I love what I do. And I'm in a really great position that I only have to do tours to places that inspire me.
Mm-hmm.
So Cuba is right up on the top of the list. It's just vibrant. It's the most vibrant country we go to, I think. A lot of music, a lot of art, a lot of dancing, great food, great people. It's a lot to offer. And then India is open. Morocco is full. We have people signed up already for the Arctic, already for Tanzania, and not for Chile yet because it's almost too far out to promote Chile. So there's room. People should always call. You never know.
Yeah.
But the thing that is really great about us, we think, is that we only take 8 or 10 people.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
So it doesn't.
Which is different from what most people do.
It's very different. But that's me. I do not want to be the person who's running around with a flag or an umbrella and having 30 or 40 people following me getting on a bus. That is absolutely not what we do. So we are very exclusive, very private. I write all the itineraries, which are flexible to a certain extent. So it's nice having that small group, and it really is fun because most of the people become lifelong friends after the trip. It's that's exciting to see.
Yeah.
But so that's what makes us special, just the small group size. And the itineraries are, I think, off the beaten track has been overused. But we do try to do things different, a little bit different locations. Like we do the Galapagos Islands. We do some really fun places.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really difficult sometimes because if you go to India, obviously you have to see the Taj Mahal. It's one of the most beautiful architectural structures in the world. But it is extremely popular and very busy. So what we do is we go in there at dawn. So we're there when the sun just comes up and hits the front of the Taj.
Oh, cool.
And there's less people there at that time. So we have maybe 30 minutes of peace.
And then
it's very peaceful.
I
mean, it's a very peaceful location. So if you have that little bit of time, I think it's really meaningful. So every place we go, we try to do that. We try to get off the cruise ship scenario. Wherever we go, we try to stay away from that. So it's a lot of logistics. This business is all about logistics. But taking a small group is very rewarding, and it's easier.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, and that intimacy is so much better and everything. And not that you can do this every time, but you were even saying before we started the interview that you were able to go somewhere in Sicily, and someone that was on the trip with you had family there from a long time ago, and you got to see the places where they grew up. Family back in the day.
It started. So we've had 2 tours to Sicily. So a year ago, September, I had a client that signed up, and he said that I believe it was his grandparents were born in this particular town in Sicily, which was not on our agenda. But he said, if we go near there, is there any way we can stop there?
Yeah.
So I looked at the route, and it wasn't that difficult to go out of our way a little bit. And he went to the chamber. He checked out a bunch of things. Rest of us sat in the plaza and had a cappuccino, and it was beautiful. And then this year, I had someone go with me whose mother was born in Sicily. And she married a service American soldier, after World War II, and eventually came back to the U.S. And then another woman whose great-grandmother was born in this other little village. So we went there too. So it was really fun, and they were very appreciative. And I'm glad that's something that when you take a small group, you can work out some of these private things.
Yeah, absolutely. That's amazing. So obviously, like I said in the beginning here, that with this industry, it's exciting to talk about because people have the itch to travel again because we couldn't for a little while. What are the differences between how you're doing business now and leading these trips versus before COVID started and everything? Is there a difference even between those two, or are you kind of back into a normal kind of swing of things?
I'll tell you, COVID really was devastating for the travel business. A lot of other businesses as well, but I think travel was particularly hurt because the disease wasn't just in the U.S. It affected everything worldwide.
Right.
It affected the airlines. Every mode of travel. So I feel very fortunate that I survived. We had a lot of trips that were scheduled that had to be canceled and then rescheduled, which took a lot of work. But we got everybody who had originally signed up during COVID to their destination. Obviously there was a time here where we had absolutely no business whatsoever.
Yeah, absolutely.
But we took that time and we upgraded our website. We did a lot of things here that we normally don't have time to do. So in a way, we didn't waste that time.
Right.
So now, after the vaccines and everything, people are freed up more to travel, and they have a desire because something about people telling you can't go anywhere for 2 years. It has done something.
As soon as I'm allowed,
Yeah, it's done something to people, and so now there is this huge movement to go somewhere. So we are really, really busy.
Yeah.
And the thing that is, that's why we plan so far ahead, because having a small group, we have to make our reservations. If it's busy out there, and we pride ourselves in a way in staying in small, like in Morocco, the riads, or small B&Bs, or small hotels that are owned and operated by the people of the country. We really like to do that, but they're small.
Yeah.
So some of them would take practically just our group, or maybe 20 people. So those reservations have to be made way ahead of time, or we're not going to get these beautiful places that we want so much. And even now, the drivers are busy, guides are busy. So now that's another problem.
Right.
But anyway, that's what we do, and we just continue to work around that. So
good.
Good.
Yeah, I think that everyone's traveling that can. I know that some people were posting on social media how frustrated they were they couldn't, and so they remodeled at home or whatever they could do. But now floodgates are open, and pretty much anything is game, it seems like. So.
Yeah. No, it's going really well. So.
Good. That's awesome. So what's the process to work with you guys and travel with you guys? What's the process people go through after they contact you?
Well, fortunately, I think we have a really good website, so people find us a lot of people find us from word of mouth.
Sure,
if anybody goes
absolutely.
with me once,
that experience,
they're going to go with me again.
Yeah.
Or they're going to send people to me. And but we have a lot of people come through the website, and some people have traveled a lot, and some people have no experience in travel. So what I think is another thing that's really special about us, we are here. We talk to people. We actually answer the phone. We actually return phone calls.
Yeah.
And we encourage people. It's like the Arctic, that is It's a very unique trip because you have to have special gear. We found it's like a clipper ship. It only holds 32 people. Looks like you're on a pirate cruise. It's absolutely gorgeous ship. So people should have a lot of questions.
Yeah.
Or
absolutely.
if they don't have a lot of questions, it's our responsibility to give them the clothing list and everything that they need, to do this. And in this one, it's a little bit of activity. I mean, you can snowshoe over the glaciers. You can we zodiac a lot through the ice and stuff, looking
What
for
is
the
that?
polar bears. Zodiacs.
Yeah.
Yeah, the small boats that take you off
okay.
your main
Okay.
boat. So anyway, there's some wonderful activity. So new people that have never heard of Biotrek, if they call and they are interested in a trip, the first thing we do is really we send them the itinerary so they can look at it, the day-by-day itinerary, and then we encourage them to call because I would really like to know what their expectations are and to make
Right.
sure that we can fulfill that for them. A lot of people are coming from California. They're coming from all over. I got people from Kansas City. I got people from everywhere. So flights, we issue the air.
Okay.
So getting people from point A to point B is sometimes difficult, and
Yeah.
we try to work that out with them.
For some reason, I didn't even think about that. I thought of everyone kind of being Northern Virginia most of your
Oh,
clients,
no.
but they're all over the
They're
country.
all
Yeah,
over.
that's true.
Yeah, so for instance, last year we had a trip to Namibia, which is, a lot of people don't know where that is,
Yeah.
but it's one country northwest of South Africa.
Okay.
Fabulous destination. But we had people coming from LA, Kansas City, New York, I forget someplace else, and a lot of people, and the rest of them were from here. But so our goal was to get everybody to Dulles if we could, and then maybe they would stay overnight, and then go on because that's a long flight.
Very long, yeah.
So anyway, they can't go from LA to Namibia hardly without stopping somewhere. We happened to fly Qatar, so we went through Doha, and
Where's that?
that's Doha. That's Qatar.
Okay.
It can be pronounced either way. So that's where we flew into, and then on directly into. Then we had to go to South Africa and pick up a commuter flight into Namibia because no international carriers go into Namibia.
Wow.
So it's
There's a lot.
It
It's a lot.
is. What did I say? Logistics.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we do all that for everybody.
Cool.
Basically, all they have to do is show up at the airport. The proper size luggage.
Right, and the right stuff.
Yeah,
and the right weights.
Yeah, and the right weights.
Yes.
Yeah, everything is everything's scaled down. The airlines are charging for some of them, not so much in international, but definitely in domestic. They're charging for one bag. And on these trips, it's almost impossible to do just carry on. You can in Cuba because it's only 8 or 9 days. And you don't need much in Cuba.
No, it's shorts and
but
some tank
going to
tops
the
and-
Arctic, you're definitely going to need heavier clothing, so you need more luggage. So
That's so cool.
we send people all the weight limits. We send people the dimensions of the suitcases that they can have, the luggage that they can have, and all that business. So, and the weights. So
Do you know how many countries you've personally been to?
that's a very good question, but I don't.
Or maybe it's easier to count the ones you haven't
I
been
guess
to
I
at this
should.
point.
I'm a very fortunate person. I have been on every continent. I don't have too many places that I haven't seen that I really have to see. Egypt was one, so I'm knocking that one out. So I really need to see the pyramids.
Yes.
But I don't know. I should count those up someday.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I'd love to know.
Yeah. The only another place that I haven't been, which seems kind of unusual, is Greece.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, which I'm dying to go to Greece. I think it would be a great addition to us. But I want to do like smaller sailing vessel from some of the outer islands that aren't so popular.
Mm-hmm.
But these things take a lot of research to do it right.
The Greek islands, I've heard that's a beautiful trip. But the logistics, like you said.
Yeah. So I haven't gotten there yet, but I will.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm sure a lot of people would be excited about that one.
I think so. Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that. I'm listening on an audiobook to a book by Eric Metaxas, and his family is Greek, so he's talking about his family and different things. So that's right on my mind as well with Greece. So that's pretty cool.
Yep.
On your website, it talks about some organizations that you guys support. Mm-hmm. Could you tell me a little bit about that?
Yeah, I feel really strongly that sustainable tourism is very important to me. It's just like when you go into a country, you're there to protect their culture. Mm-hmm. You're there to learn about the culture, but you're also, I think you have a responsibility to protect it and honor the culture of every country that you go to.
Right.
And within this process, I meet a lot of people, and I am extremely involved in a lot of things in every country that we go to. So let's just pick the Galapagos.
Yeah.
So the Galapagos has to be protected. I mean, it could easily be destroyed, and if you look at a bunch of reports, you can see what's happening to the environment. Now they do try to limit how many ships can go there, but it's still hard to control. So
a lot of people want to go there.
A lot of people want to go there, and Ecuador, I guess, is still considered a third world country. So the money that comes into the Galapagos helps take care of the mainland. Mm-hmm. So it's very important. So you have to balance this out. So the Galapagos Conservatory, which happens to be right in Arlington.
Okay.
They're a great organization. Their main goal is the protection of, and they do a lot of great things. So we sponsor them, and that's why they're on our website.
Like wildlife kind of thing?
Yeah, environmental. They promote, protection of the environment in the Galapagos, and then we support a orphanage in Tanzania.
Okay.
And that sounds kind of like, okay, but it is amazing. And when we get there, it's an option. People do not have to go on my tour. They don't have to go to the orphanage if they don't want to. Mm-hmm. But it has turned out to be a highlight because the place isn't depressing. It is so uplifting that you just can't, there's so many stories there. It's beautiful. The woman who runs it is outstanding. So Biotrek, we make donations to everybody more than what we have on our website, but and so does everybody else. They just want to. And the tour company that I use on safari, the owner is young and very dynamic, and we get along really well. And so I found out from the owner, the director of the orphanage, that he grew up in that orphanage.
Oh, wow.
From the time he was at birth practically until he was 18. So that is an incredible success story right there.
Yeah.
That just makes you very proud to, sponsor them. And then there's Four Oceans. So you probably heard about Four Oceans, the two guys that were out there kayaking somewhere, I guess over in the near Malaysia or Indonesia somewhere. Yeah. And they were appalled at the crap that they came across in the ocean. So they started this whole thing to save the oceans. That's an international one, and it's really, really important. Yeah. And they're doing really good work. What else is on there? Save the Tiger. There was a lot of poaching of tigers and stuff in India, and so the Save the Tiger is a government project, but it is also fueled by a nonprofit. So we support that because we go to the tiger preserve, scouting the tiger, and been so lucky to have seen the tiger several times. Yeah, we go out in jeeps, and
how close have you gotten?
Pretty close.
Yeah, I figure.
Yeah, pretty.
That's
I'm sure there's one on my website. It's wonderful. And anyway, so another really great one is in Guatemala. I really love Guatemala because it has this combination of indigenous people and a beautiful environment. I mean, the landscape it's just absolutely gorgeous. But the women are still weaving their blouses, which are called repeals. And they're all done on the backstrap loom. And whatever province you might be from within Guatemala, you can tell by the repeals because they all have different designs. So like if you were here, like this is from Culpeper, this is from Rappahannock, and they're all, different. So we go to Lake Atelan. We take a boat, we go around the island. It's the only way to get to this little village. And there are young women there who are weaving on the backstrap loom. So we support them. It's a co-op, and there's like 20, 30 women that work in this co-op and doing weaving. Okay. So it's great.
That's neat.
Yeah, it's a good thing to do. It's a good thing to do.
And I like the ones especially that you found out after going to those countries, like the orphanage, to find out more about it and visit and everything. Are these ladies in Guatemala, you said?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's so cool that you're able to interact with them and support and everything with your business.
Yeah,
so.
Absolutely. I think we need to give back.
Yeah.
We always need to give back.
Yeah, that's awesome. So kind of to bring things to a close, do you have any tips for people that are traveling, post-COVID, like I said, and you said a lot of people are wanting to get out and doing stuff. It might be new for some people, or just, a tip for people who travel a lot. Do you have any tips for people?
Book early.
Book early? Okay. Okay.
Yeah, book early, because there's nothing worse than somebody calling me and I have to tell them that the trip is full. And I don't think a lot of people realize that that's so important.
Yeah.
It's especially important with us because we are unique that we only take like a max of, 10 people usually. So book early. We let people pay in thirds. Okay. We set up a payment plan for them, for some people, if so it makes it easier. I think it's a great time to fulfill those once in a lifetime trips, like a safari to Tanzania. Everybody has to do that.
Yeah.
You have to do it.
I have a best friend he was raised in Botswana. And he wants us to go there sometime, so we'll be able to do that. I think his parents are in Kenya now, though. They moved, so. But either one of those.
Go
they
to
both
Kenya
have great
then.
safaris.
Yeah,
so.
we picked Tanzania, but there's other places. But and I highly, because of COVID especially, we offer travel insurance up here. There's a lot of companies who sell travel insurance, but a lot of people got hurt during COVID because they did not have insurance. And in the beginning, the insurance companies weren't paying for COVID-related stuff, but now they do. But it's not all that expensive, and for a trip that costs $7,000 or $8,000, like a safari, you really need to protect yourself because you just never know what's going to. Yeah. And it kills me if somebody should have to lose that money. The other thing that I tell everybody, pack light. You do not need all the stuff you think you need.
Okay.
It's a freedom to travel light. It really is, and once people get used to it, they can do it. I mean, I can. I take almost always carry. I have a problem because I have to carry camera equipment. Yeah. So camera equipment takes up all my weight for carry-on. Yeah. Yeah. So that's. But other than that, I would probably always do carry-on.
That 2 outfits and a toothbrush. And you're
well,
good to go.
You can do better than that. I mean, carry-on it gives you pretty good, know, and if you need to, there's laundry service along the way, and it just makes life easier.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And another little tip is always take a picture of your checked bag. It helps if it's lost. Now there's better tracking for lost bags. We've been very fortunate. We haven't. I'm even afraid to say that. We have not had.
Knock on wood, right?
Yeah. Whatever. We haven't had a lot of lost luggage, but it happens. I know people who have. So. Yeah, there's hundreds of travel tips, but
no, those are excellent.
Yeah, that's just a few.
All right. Well, thank you so much for visiting with me, Sunny.
You're
And
welcome.
It's great to hear about what Biotrek's doing, and I'm glad that you're on the up and up and everything's booked and you have lots of trips planned, even new stuff. So that's
Yep.
super exciting.
Yeah, it's great to live in Warrenton and go to all these great places and then come back here to our beautiful little town.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Definitely check her website out and see the pictures that she takes on these trips, and go ahead and book one as well. So we'll see you
Perfect.
guys next time.
Thank you for joining us for today's episode of The Heart of Fauquier. If you loved joining us today, give this podcast a great review and subscribe to keep up with new episodes. If you have an office in Fauquier that needs a cleaning service, reach out to Bedrosian Cleaning Services and see how they can serve you. Until next time, thanks for listening.